My dear students, there are certain things which we need to consider when interviewing an applicant who is blind. Number one, identify yourself and others present immediately and do a handshake verbally or physically. Sometimes, if the person is blind, it is not a good idea to handshake physically. Maybe he would not be able to, surely he would not be able to see your hand. So, it is better to say handshake verbally. Be descriptive in giving direction. You need to describe. You have to move straight, then you have to move left, now you have to turn it and move right. It is better to make the places smooth so there should not be any kind of a hazard over there. Don't shout. If you are passing an information, if you are passing a descriptive information, don't shout. Pass information in a medium tone. Number four, keep doors either open or closed, not half opened, as this is a serious hazard. Because if the doors are half open and the blind candidate doesn't know that whether the door is half open, so it would lead to the confusion and it is a big occupational health and safety hazard. So if you want to open the door, open it fully, and if you want to close the door, close it fully and pass the information appropriately to the blind candidate. Don't touch an applicant's walking stick. You know, blind candidates have a walking stick, and don't touch the walking stick because it is not a good idea. It is not appropriate. And you know, in some cases, some of the disabled candidates, blind candidates, have a guide dog with them. It is not much common in Pakistan, but some of the people have a guide dog here, but it is not much common. But in Western countries, if you are in some multinational, you would face the candidates who would have a guide dog. So it is not a good idea to pat on a guide dog or touch a guide dog. And number six, offer assistance in travel by letting the applicant grasp your left arm just above the elbow. And when interviewing an applicant who is deaf, you may need to use a physical signal to get the applicant attention because he would not be able to listen to you properly because he's deaf. So just give them a physical signal. And if the applicant is lip reading, enunciate early and place yourself where there is a ample lightning. Ample lightning is very important. And number 9, communicate by using a combination of gesture, facial expression, and note passing. So you cannot communicate in a very general way that you are communicating with a simple candidate because these candidates are very special and you have to use a combination of a gesture and the facial expressions and some note passing to such kind of candidates. And number 10, if you don't understand what the applicant is telling you, ask them to repeat. Sometimes the voice is not clear, there is a mumbling, so it is better to ask from the candidates that what you are telling about. And number 11, don't pretend that you understand. If you can't understand, just say straight away that you can't understand. Don't pretend that you understand because it would lead to confusion and chaos. And if necessary, use a sign language interpreter, but be sure to always speak directly to the applicant. Don't say to the interpreter, tell her that, because it's not a good idea. And then, my dear student, you have to review the application form. The interviewer should review the written application to determine whether additional information is needed. If needed, then you may ask additional information from the candidate. And for example, of items that may need clarification include unexplained gaps in employment history. It is very common that some people have gaps in their employment history because of some personal circumstances, because of some particular situation. So it is a good idea to ask them to explain gaps in the employment history, such as the dates left out and employers not named. So if some informations are missing in the application form, it is a good idea to ask about all these information so the person can be interviewed in a proper manner. So reviewing the application form before the interviewing is very much important, and you have to fill out all the missing data which is available in the application.